Hello everyone, I am going outside now to sow some seeds. We had a seed swap this weekend with the garden club that we started last year. As you can see, we still have some snow in the ground, and I wanted to take a chance to try to sow some seeds over the snow as an experiment. My hands are freezing, so I won't be here for very long. I got some interesting things. So I have a couple different types of milkweed here that I would like to plant along the pond. Those are the same ones that I have already planted on the milk jugs. So since I got tons of extra seeds, I'm gonna try to do some direct sowing to see what will happen. So these are butterfly weed and swamp milkweed, and this is the amount of seeds that I got, so we have a lot. So I'm just gonna take a quick walk around the pond over here there and scatter some seeds around, and we'll see what's going to happen this spring and summer.
I just recently found out about the importance of pond edges for ecosystems and that this is an area of a critical transition zone, providing habitat for all kinds of wildlife from amphibians to pollinators. And I chose to sow the milkweed here, right over the snow, because milkweed is incredibly important for supporting the monarch butterflies. Monarchs rely on milkweed to lay their eggs, and the caterpillars feeds exclusively on their leaves. So without milkweed, monarchs wouldn't have the food source that they need to complete their life cycle. This is particularly vital as monarch populations are in decline, and planting milkweed can help sustain their numbers. In addition to monarchs, milkweed also attracts a wide range of other pollinators like bees, other butterflies, and hummingbirds. Its vibrant flowers are rich in nectar, making it an important food source, especially in the early summer when other nectar sources might be limited. So I'm really hoping that those will flower for me in the first year if they do come up and sprout.
Okay, so I sowed most of the seeds in there, and I'm not sure if it's going to work because there's no really prepared beds around here, and there's a lot of grass that's going to be under all the snow, but I'm just hopeful that some of them will germinate. I'm hoping here that they are going to rely on a bit of their weedy nature to grow all over here in our pond, and if not, at least the seed will be good food for the wildlife during this winter if they find the seeds first before they have a chance to fall into the ground and germinate. So we'll see what's going to happen. I have saved just a little bit of seed of one of them, the butterfly weed, the orange one, the swamp milkweed that likes to be close by water. I just figured to just throw everything around here and hope that we'll like this habitat. And I did in many different areas, so there'll be some shady spots and sunny spots, and we'll see if some of them will come up in some of these places, and we'll see where they're going to do well or not. So I'm going to go back inside because it's really cold and I am losing sunlight right now. Okay, I'm back inside and I have made myself some tea to help myself warm up. It's just been so cold, and I also have a hard time being outside. I should definitely have worn a hat and gloves, but that's all right. Lesson learned. I wanted to come here to talk to you guys a bit more about the seed swap that we had over the weekend. That was with our New York City Kitchen Garden Club. I started a garden club last year with a fellow gardener, Kiara. She actually is a garden designer in the city, and we have lots of people sign up through last spring, and the club is still going very well all the way until now. Everybody now is excited again for seed starting season, so we scheduled a seed swap in New York, in Manhattan. We're first thinking to do it in here, so everybody could come and see the new property, our new home, but it's just been so cold outside. We just preferred to do it in New York City, which is a bit warmer there, and Kiara just offered her place to do the hosting, so we took the hike down to Manhattan, and it was really nice. It was great. We had a chance to see each other in person because we are a fairly large group. We have been mostly communicating via a WhatsApp group, and then when we do meetups, it's always nice to have an opportunity to meet the person that's behind the name on the group chat. So that was really great. I had a really good time, and obviously it was great to see some familiar faces, some people that I always go and I have grown to be close with and became my friends. So was overall very, very good. And I got those milkweed seeds that you guys saw. And when I was outside not long ago, I was also planning to throw some other native seeds in there, have some anise, hyssop, and something else that is in my little tin right now and I can recall. But I just felt so cold I couldn't keep going outside, but that's all right. I will try to do that this weekend. I also wanted to do a garden tour, a January garden tour this weekend, but we have rain in the forecast, so we'll see how it goes. I know today's already the 31st, but I just had a really busy week and didn't have a chance to film anytime earlier than that. But I think that would be great to do a garden tour so you guys can see the whole progress of the garden this year, starting now with a blank slate. I don't have a lot going on in the garden yet, unfortunately. I thought I was going to do a lot of work this winter, but I am not made for this weather and it's extremely hard for me to do any work outside when it's below freezing, so I couldn't really get anything done. If you're new here, I am from Brazil and I lived in the tropics for most of my life, so being outside in the cold is still something that's difficult to me, but hopefully I'll get used to it sometime, but not yet. I'll try to see if now in February I'll be able to get some other things done. As long as it's above freezing, it's easier for me, but as soon as it hits below freezing, it's just too hard for me to be outside. But in the fall, I did start a few things. I started already delimiting the space of where the vegetable garden is going to be. I was planning to do bamboo raised beds for this, and Danny and I, while it was still warm, already cut some bamboo to try to start building, but we just left them on the side when it started getting really cold because we couldn't get on with it. And I have also the no-dig beds that I have done in the front that I have documented here and had some videos about in the fall. So we'll see how those are going to turn out. I'm planning to plant the vernaculars in there and some of my cool flowers, which makes me think of the other thing I want to talk to you guys about, which is still seed starting. We're gonna start now with full seed starting season. I have started a few things already, but now I really have to get my cold weather things up and running. So I have got this mini soil block here that I've showed to you guys in the previous video too, and I plan to use this for my cool flowers. But on the seed swap, Kiara was generous enough to gift me a couple other things. She had this older, bigger soil block that she's not using anymore because she got some newer ones that are better for her hands, the Swift blockers, and she really liked that, so she was willing to pass this around since she was not using anymore. I was very grateful for that. And then she also gave me one of these trays to try because I bought this first one from the gardener's workshop, and they also sell the trays, but I was not sure if I really needed that. But it's really good to see that this fit pretty good here with the soil block, so I'm gonna be trying it out and see if I like it, to see if I'll get some more. But I also want to use stuff that I already have to start my seeds. I don't want to spend a lot of money with the garden this year, having a more constrained budget this year since we have moved, and moving from an apartment to a house, it's a lot more costly than we anticipated, so we're still recovering from that. So I'll try to do my best to use what I have too. Now that I have these big soil blocks here, I'm probably going to use just regular 10-20 trays to start to do it. I don't know, we'll figure out together. Once I start soil blocking, I'll bring you guys along. I'm going to try to do onions on these first because they're big and the onions are going to stay inside for a while, I assume. I never grew onions before, so I'm not really sure. I might even try a couple different methods, but I don't even have a space to put them out yet. I'm doing this with the faith that I will be able to have a space behind the pond to plant these onions in. Back there, I am thinking to do also some sort of a garden because I need space with everything that I'm starting, but I'm not going to do anything fenced, so I need to do things that are more deer resistant or critter resistant in general, and I think onions usually don't get bothered by anything, so I'll try to grow in there and see how it goes. On my backyard, I plan to do it fenced closer to me. It's going to be more my kitchen garden and things that I harvest more frequently. Onions are something that you kind of set in there and have to wait all the way to create the bulbs, so I think it's okay for them to be a bit farther. But we'll see, we'll learn together. I am a little worried that I haven't got so many things done, so I definitely will be relying a lot on my green stalks, which I'm so thankful for because I already have them. So I have the space to already plant something, and I have started already the seeds for a couple of them, for my cold season ones, which have already sprouted, by the way. I have a lot of baby seedlings in the grow room, and I'm very happy about that. I can't wait to keep watching them grow. There's always a joy that never gets old to me to see new seeds just coming up and turning to baby seedlings. I love watching them. But they will stay there for a while still. But something that I forgot to mention in the video that I started them is that I'm planning to actually heavily rely on my frost covers this year also, since I started the seeds early and I might have to plant them out early too. I will make sure that when I plant them, they're going to be under the frost covers to buy me some time, especially because we have a colder winter than usual and I am in a new location. So just wanted to put that out there because a lot of people ask me a few things about it, and I forgot to mention the frost covers there. But I do have them, and I'll be relying on them more. Also, one more thing, I got more seed houses. So I got 3 more packs. Greenstock just had a sale with the seed starting supplies, and I want to use it to protect the ones that I don't have frost covers for from critters, because in the spring, the squirrels usually come with a vengeance, trying to dig everything that you plant. So I already had a problem with them in the city, and I'm assuming that it's going to be a problem here too, since I see them around everywhere. So I have these packs. Each of these little bags come with 6. So I already had 2 bags, and the ones that I have already in the green stock, I also want to clarify that we're supposed to work as a winter sowing method. So a few of you asked in the comments what happened to the seeds that are planted in there because it's just got so cold. But the intention was to have them still stay there and just be exposed to the elements, a little protected with the cover. And then once it's time for them to germinate, they will come up in the spring. I sowed some herbs and some pansies, and those usually benefit from being in the cold for a little bit, so I'm not worried about them. But they're trying to kind of mimicking the same thing that I did with the milk jugs with my winter sowing video, but that's just directly on the green stock instead, which is great. If you have a green stock, you could try to do that if you wanted to and you don't have any indoor grow light setups. I was planning to probably put them out while I was doing the garden tour, just to protect what I already have in there. I had some parsley that I thought I was going to survive the winter, and now I don't think so. So it's been so cold, I don't think anything in there that's exposed is going to survive. But maybe I'll do that in the weekend. Maybe I'll still film a garden tour, we'll see, depending on the weather on this weekend too, how it's going to look like here for us, and post it a couple days later after January. But February is mostly going to be seed starting and planning heavily for us. I want to start all my cool season flowers in February already, all my ranunculus, all my anemones, and a little bit more of some cold hardy things like onions, asparagus, and other brassicas, bigger ones like cauliflower, more broccoli, some cabbage. And I am waiting a bit more on them because I want to plant them on my raised beds, but I don't have raised beds yet, so I didn't want to start them too early and they get too big and they don't have a space to live in the garden once the time comes. With the green stalks, I could do that because I can put them out, and I already have the frost covers to give them extra protection. So we'll see how all of that's going to work out, and then I will probably start my warm season seedlings, the things that like to grow in the warmer weather, around March and latest April. I'm going to wait actually to see how cold it is in the whole month of February and how cold it is in the beginning of March until I decide when I want to plant those. But for the garden plants, I want to start drawing and designing things this February. If I can find the strength, I will start doing some building of the garden outside now in February too. If not, we'll try our best to have it done by March so I could start putting those cold loving crops out early and give them the conditions that they like to grow in. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see how the seeds that I sowed around the pond are going to do too. They will stay there on the snow, having that cold, moist, freeze and thaw cycles to help them break dormancy and hopefully come up for us in the spring. I have other native seeds to start that I'm going to be starting now too in February, doing winter sowing again, so also stay tuned for that. So lots of exciting things happening. I'm excited to keep updating you guys on this garden journey. I am ready for spring. I'm already tired of all of this cold weather we have had, so I can't wait for brighter days and longer days in the future and to get out in the garden. So thank you so much for watching today. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know in the comment section down below. And if you want to let me know what you are doing February 2, I would love to hear that. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.